So we're going to take a look at how fire aided us in human evolution and the advantages of it. Probably the most obvious one is the fact that we could then cook food. Now, having cooked food made the food a lot easier to digest, which meant we didn't need as large teeth, as large jaws, and that changed our skull structure, which enabled us to then have a larger cranial capacity. The other thing, it then gave us access to more protein because we could cook the meat, and by cooking the meat and getting more protein meant that we had more energy, and the energy was really important in supporting that larger brain. It also allowed us to kill off any toxins that might have been in there, so any bacteria or parasites that could have been in the food. And again, all this leads to better survival. We could also then have access to a variety of food that we couldn't chew before became a lot easier to eat, and again we can have access to more food, and by cooking the food it would preserve it for a long time. So if we went into periods where there wasn't a lot of food around, we could sort of stock up food for those situations. Now all of this leads to survival. So if we're getting more energy from the food that we eat, then we've got higher chances of survival in terms of having more energy to reproduce. The other advantage is around tool making, because as soon as we had access to fire, we could make better tools. And if we had better tools, then we were going to be better hunters. And again, if we're better hunters, we've got access to more meat. So if we have more meat, we've got more protein and more energy for our brains. We also then could produce a much wider variety of tools. So we didn't just have one tool for everything. We could have much more specific tools that would do a variety of different jobs. And again, the better hunting gave us access to more variety and different types of food. So the next one is protection. So if you've got fire, it can make your days a lot longer because you've actually got access to light for a longer period of time. It also means that you were protected against cold weather if you were anywhere where it got colder, and again colder at night. It also, because we could keep ourselves warm, it meant that we were then able to migrate into new cooler areas and look for different resources. The fire is also known as to keep predators away, so again gave us protection, a bit of safety there against predators and a greater chance of surviving against predators. And as I've already mentioned, it protected us against possible parasites or bacteria that may have been in food. Now this last one's really important. Everybody gets drawn to a campfire. So people sit around a campfire and they start having conversations. So they may share stories of what's happened during the day, successes they've had maybe during hunting. And it also meant that they could then collaborate and plan the next hunt together. All those brains working together made us better at problem solving, and we had more of an opportunity then to learn from each other. And by learning from each other, we develop more language. So we know today that collaboration is very important, and it still was then. Again, it's going to aid survival. The better we are at hunting and problem solving, the more likely we are to survive, and then we're going to be able to produce the next generation.